Padma Sadarda Ahum Banjarangara 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 Padma Sadarda Ahum Banzaranger 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 Padma Sadarda ahum banzarangara padma sadardo 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 ahum banzarangara padma sadarda ahum banjarangara 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 padma sadarda ahum Banzarangara 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 Padma Sadarda Banzaranger Padmasadarda Ahum 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 banzarangara padma sadarda 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 ahum banzarangara padma sadardo. Ahum Banjarangara 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 padma sadardo 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 ahum banjarangara padma sadardo
Om Sambara Sambara Bamana Sara Maha Zambaba Humpala Soha Om Sambara Sambara Bamana Sara Maha Zambaba Humpala Soha Om Sambara Sambara Bamana Sara Maha Zambaba Humpala Soha Om Nachata Nam Ram Janan Japa Tashim Shobji Jana Bjigpaya Sarji Judan Gim Danam Pagapa Soy Kanlab Shagam Salab Darjab Tashi Shodmi Yadabo Zatana Tunjabergon Shamba Yan Wala Geta Wala Tamba Kanla Gomba Jachira Jagpa Janan Hambur Taram Paga Salata Walatan Simchanan Hamja Largon Jagpa Wala Yatsam Zalapa Sarabata Walatim Sansaman to be Tashi Walimpila Devara Shagapa Jalab Shagam Salalom Jan Walajan Wardane Durjim Zanam Shere Zawam Gumbu Shamba Wala Saya Nyambo Rabanam Bereselenam Ke Nyambo Pagmchaga Kandav Zan Pala Durji Parkara Shandan Dawara Nyamaya Shagam Sanan Laganam Tashi Walajim Chugab Shancheba Sanwa Jalab Shagam Zalaloran Chenadim Chugum Tashi Sirjanyam Dum Jom Amza Yalon Kamala Nyantra Don Don Panzo Walavi Manaba Jalamsa Wam Jeram Korolosh Tirin Chenadam Chugab Shoktev Jaravam Chujab Jeep Jadama Gosong or Jambi, Walabi Love Jashil Hamo Jalab Shagam Salalo Samba Chimbo Dim George did me the Merton and Jalapo Yelam Kuraton Pati Botan Lawan Mezan and to Titil Harzim Kurlota Chashalatam Donton Durji Janamba Relative Churtin Jamsanam Zana Sasaman is Galegam Tashi Pilin Jawab Jalab Shagam Salalo Dacha Tamdar Shava Zumba Lab Gatani Varateva Kanajani Yevjanandra Tashib Delega Pansam Sobera Shanakanandal Hami Yobjaran Chego Rurmajan and Chanjalazina Zaso Deep Jalavi Mulam Live Shomi Kananzan to the Burton and James Jerje Namora Najaya Namo Bangawati Bandar Sarata Mardana Tangataya Arahati Samyak Sambadaya Tariata Umbanjiri Banjiri Mahabandiri Mahadin Banjiri Mahabayam Banjiri Mahaboda Satan Banjiri Mahaboda Mandoba Santarman Banjiri Sarvakarma Awarana Bishudana Banjiri Sohana Mora Najaya Namo Bangawati Bandar Sarata Mardana Tangataya Arahati Samyak Sambadaya Tariata Banjiri Banjiri Mahambanjiri Mahatin Bandar Mahabayam Bandar Mahaboda Satan Bandar Mahaboda Mandoba Santarman Bandar Sarvakarma Awarana Bishudana Banjiri Sohana Mora Najaya Namo Bangawati Bandar Sarata Mardana Tatangataya Arahati Samyak Sambadaya Tariata Banjiri Banjiri Mahambanjiri Mahatin Bandar Mahabayam Bandar Mahaboda Satan Bandar Mahaboda Mandoba Santarman Bandar Sarvakarma Awaran Bishudana Banjiri Soha Malisim Janan Kananja Gonam Jirjan Dalade Hom Jimam Zadam Jum Zadalha Gonam Malim Jabjan Janan Jarapa Chum Danan Kurji Nindar Shalzai Soloi Datam Dola Tip Zip Shir Yelajizm Taram Tayina Chitadam Chulaba Dab Jadaba Tem to the Jumdan Jesus Babam Jahwala Janara Jirpala Sham Zala Chanyala Satab Jobji Jitanana Dizama Shakbamaya Sangikan Dake ma lep te ta tham che da la le ta nga ya la ta vi shab je o zambo shir ba mo la ma dub da ke jar va tham che da yel che ngon sa man da jang ga dar nye le ra ba tar pai jar va kan na rab ta sham salalo darje dana dalnya la sanje nama sanje ti je we na bji pa ta te tar chu ja ya nama mali pa tham cha da garava ta ke kanvar mo te ta gam nga pa ma zala jem so nama yang ji yan la ga jem su de ken ji garava kan ji yun dan rab ju de ja Shagba tham cha da da ke to me to ga tam ban chang wa tam ba ta sir ni na nam dam shi pa dim cho dam har mim cho ta de pu tam ba ye yarva te ta la nam chu par je nabza tam ba nam da jam cho dam shi ma par ma ra ra ban nyam ba tam ko la ba cha da par pa pam cho ken ji yarva te ta la nam chu par je Chirpa gana mabla mila jajiva tita jarva tham chadala yamu zambo vshala talpo tub tagaki jarva kanna vshagam sadam chuparabji dola chaga jirda tami wangi na lita ngakta tibjina yeji jang digi babda kibji pam chimchipa Teta tham jalab daki sosurv shag Shagji jarva kanda sanji chi ranjid nam dam love dam do I can jim zun nam kan la ya Teta kanje jizab da yara Kana mab shag jim jitin dun ma nam ab shang chiverim ber sanji ma chagavni gombo teta daki tham chadala Korlov lana milapaf korvarav kala Yangananda tuna kamjala deta la Amdua kan la pam jam devavshir Kalapa janga dalanya labji parayan Daki talamurav jirav sorvarav Chagam sadavatang chudjam shagbatang Jizu yirav kalajang sorvay Gewa chang zaladaki chap sagapa Tham chadav da gib shang chibab shirab ngoy Shigab janab jipa sanji chum dandi tham chadata Sab chalani pab shang chibab senwa chimbo nam Lama durjim zamba chimbo nam Daglar gonsa soloy Shang chib nyamburum chije var sanji nam la chab sum Shang chib sen hua yin co la an dev jina chab sum Shang chib nyamburum chije var sanji nam la chab sum Chu dam shang chib sen hua yin co la an dev jina chab sum Shang chib nyamburum chije var sanji nam la chab sum Chu dam shang chib sen hua yin co la an dev jina chab sum Chatar wanji de jagdim shanje ve thignev jerpata shanje be sen khim la pala te taram janani patar div janan dola bhandun da shanje be sen nev jeb jajo div janan da nam la pala ram bav janda la parvje Chatar wanji de jagdim shanje ve thignev jerpata shanje be sen khim la pala Teta Ramjanani Patar, Divjan and Dola Pandunda, Shanchivasim of Jedjam, Divjan and the Nam Lapala, and Babjan Dab Laparavja, Chatara Monjib de Shagajim, Shanchivatin of Jerpatam, Shanchivasim Quim Lapala, Teta Ramjanani Patar, Divjan and Dola Pandunda, Shanchivasim of Jedjam. Devjananda nam la pala Rambab jandam lava barvya Tandi Dagji diva yud maye talapala paratho Tera sarji researchi sarji chesa tajarato Tanab daki chane jari tam thambale samante Jumalam samburim dala Nyoparam jarate tarafsha Shaktar Pambuli, Chatar, Rinchin, and Yelbatar, Division Jersey, Tartini, Shanchib, same of the Lerchi. Ducky, the Ram Chulpatam to the Jub, Shangaram, Rua, the Shagan Yelatan, Warta, the Lamdund was an angel, Hadan, Laman, Lazoga, Shanchib, same Chorum, Bochi, Marchi, Panama, Jersey, Stipa, Nyamba, Meparayan, Goni, Gondam, Peversho, Shanchib, same dam, and Derajam, Shanchib, love Joravata. Sardi Namchi, Omzom Jam, the Jade, Nama Powersho. Shanchib, same one, Namji, Dutun and Hila, Gondrevisho. Gomboina, Gargomba, Simchana, Namla, Dangerous. Simchana, Tamchela, Data, Dangerous, Andrew, Tamchela, Tomversho. Shanchib, same one, can't have a service. Tetaga ganji mola mandrapara joy oma honja de chin barava wango bobjanda de ton zuzru top yeshirk machaga devdana ba miram janni durjenya mana wa chimbo wal churkana wan thai durji jum jitina wam siti ji chazi parama jerbam khondinga wam jer natada zanna wan cheneraga Sawai Shin Banzara, Dim Chandor Pajarpo, the Chiniter, Malay Jirgi, Elam Torif Shedema, Chatam Jardi, Wamshik de Tonkar, Wamzala Durji, Wawadaki, so Antom Yamba Chimbunga, Yadat, Durjika, Karchista Samayo, Gamla Song of Jadi, Kamsam, Wazara Marbum Kundi, Ola Chabaji, Tamchilio Shanda Perepsin, Durje Charbach, Chimbuti Jina, Namni Hamudum, Durgim Chotoloja, Durje Church, Chimbuyi, after the day I chimburum shilepa, Tai Jam Jalada, Karachana, Dalji Comba Sheva, Jimjipa. One girl had Sola, Gibis, and Deep Soup, Shinjilo, Chotan Mudrum, the gay what had told me the one that said Bungo, Traversola, Oma, Horse, they chin, Baraba, one girl of down the Beton, Zosotopa, Yeshirk, Macha Deep didn't by me, Ramjani, Durgenia Mana, watching Bukol, Churkana, one Dai, Durji, Jitina, Wamsi, Chazi, Panama, Jerabum, Kondinga, Wam, Jer, not to the Zon, once and Heraka, Sawai, Shim, Bandra, Dim Chanda, the Pajapo, the Chenadere, Malay Jergi, Yelam Tori, Shedeman, Chotam Jagdi, Wamsi, de Tonkar, Wamzala Durji, Wawundaki, so an Antonian Bachimbunga, Yelet, Durji, Garjita, Samayom, Gamala Sanga, Jadi, Kamsam, Wazara Marbum, Kondi, Ola Chabaji, Tamchadoshan, the Parashid, Durji Chabach, and Butina, Namni Hodum, Durgim Chosoloja, Durji Chabachim Bui, and after the Deva Chimburudum Shilepa, Tai Jim Jalada, Karachan, and the Jicom, Sheva, Jim Jigapa, Ramjim Tasama Wangal, Hazola, Gibis, Ruan, Deep Subshinjil, Chotana Hodum, Durge Quantada, told me the one that said Bungo, Soloma, Honsha, the Chin Baraba, Wanga, Bob Janda, Beton Zozrotopa, Shirk, Macha Deep, then Pamiram Jani, Durgenia Mana, watching Bukol, Churkana, one day, Durji, Jitina Wamsi, Chazi. Kondinga won't get on to the Zona once in Iraka, Sama Yeshim, Bandara, Dim Chandal Pajarpo, the Chinetire, Malaysia, Gilam Torip, Chidama, Chotam Charji, Wamsi, de Tonkar, Wamsa Durji, Daki, so Natom Yamba Chimbunga, Yarat, Durjika, Garjita Samayo, Gamela Songa, Jadi, Kamsam, Wazara Marabum Kondi, one light Chabataji, Tam Chadosha, the Peripshit, Durji Chabach, and Butigina, Namni Hudum, the Gim Chosodaja, Durji Chimbuyi, and after the Deva Chimburudum Shilepa, Tai Jim Jalada, Karachana, Darji Com, Vashiva, Jim Jigpa, Ramjam Sasamawangal, Hazola, Gibis, and Deep Sushinjilo, Chotan Hudum, the Gay Quantata, told me the one that Jelba, Traversal, or Jena, Yerjan, of Shansam, Palamaki, Dombo, Yamzam Joga, Utravni, Padama, Johnny, Jesus, Takam Kurtam, Kandru, among both Kurchi, Jesus, the Drevati, Shinji, all of Shire, Sharsol, Gara Padamas, the Hoy, 这的本个人参加的当，这不人进行不接的上什么牛这别的当，这不能怪别了他走了，所有人的主心结了不是那稍微玩车走了300也不真的白当，就当他们我这不走的这的本个人参加的当，这不人进行不接的上什么牛这别的当，这不能怪别了他走了，所有人的主心结了不是那稍微玩车走了300也不真的白当，就当他们我这不走的这的本个人参加当，这不人进行不接的上什么牛这别的当，这不行怪别了他走了，所有人的主心结了不是那稍微玩车走300也不真的白当，就当他们我这不走的这的本个人参加当，这不人进行不接的上什么牛这别的，这不行怪别了他走了，所有人的主心结了不是那稍微玩车走这白当，就当他们我这不走的这的本个人参加当，这不人进行不接的上什么牛这别当，这不行怪别了他走了，所有人的主心结了不是那稍微玩车走了300也不真的白当，就当他们我这不走的这的本个人参加当，这不人进行不接的上什么牛这别当，这不行怪别了走了，所有人的主心结了不是那稍微玩车走300也不真的白当，就当他们我这不走的这的本个人参加当，这不人进行不接的上什么牛这别当，这不行怪别了走了，所有人的主心结了不是那稍微玩车走300也不真的白当，就当他们我这不走的这的本个人参加当，这不人进行不接的上什么牛这别当，这不行怪别了走了，所有人的主心结了不是那稍微玩车走了300也不真的白当，就当他们我这不走了，天了都了讲，所有人的不提那个时候讲的你不是学个事。那当个了碰他不的是吧？当去当这心皮的味在了的说了，见面了当吧，你的当天中个那晚个面的总机见面吃的，让他那南克人就真的演出会，人前那上车把了你大碗当，说白聪明的小姐上给那谁见到个真能参到会学了的，去过什么时候都是接的中这个这个也是那这个家那个家乡，这个有那娘这个得是老子了那么谁接的得是接了话那么的哇。也是我是这位夸阳切不你我这边的你的那么这个说，他跟说讲从口里接用口里讲，咱把咱们这这人他你嘞，那么这了台湾是花了走路啊。جاب كنن بيب دغنيل چيمبور صلا نيانجي چيمبو صدنني ميجام زوني مولمن چيمبو نبجتب بركر ترم غتم توشر مردغوي تنبا تيجي جنلاب شغم سلالو Gosama ge tsolom shirji kanab zam chud butun de menim bal togmel nef sa de ton mali ba nyanim jod ba tag po so surb shag pagata so so chi wor gi wan ti sam sa la ji sa ye rong mo zab jang ja chi chu jin khor lo salam shag jer janam chal param kor ta sol cholana nam khar ta bi ye shir ke ti sam phom jer me parab sig molaj adab she na ngor chen ji salatan ja jar pa zir ka ta ta na waram zod dak te sam sag pa gi cho ji kha che vam ro kan la phan la ta chu ji jal bo ta par ni shil ja chu ji jal ba kon phan tho par shag dak cha ni mem ro am go mil na ma ti ji lag par zon va ka cha na le jan da dem dar ren chen nam sam je na wa ji ni le ji jin chen le ni te shir jam cha ko chong mi le chi par ye le chi ta le bi nya ne so ren de va na ngon je tam je chin bo ma mi le var shang cha ba var te ti ji jim zan nam zo de zan nam je de ba da zon li pe chen je stom ber ke le ye shi je o zra na zo ba na wa chin bo da dang sim chen nan tham cha da ji da ba tham cha la sa la jang ta ba chin bo lam je yon da na cha da jin da ji di shar mar do ba sa nam ber sam la la ma stom ba chum dan di ti bjana shag ba da chum ba yang da bar zo pa sar je khar je shag ja da ba la shagim salam chu tur jab sam che wo lam tumba chumdan di tibshina shagbara chumbayang dagbara zopa sanji kwarjirab shajata balam shagim zalam chutur chapsam chawam Tibshina shagbara chumbayang dagbara zopa sanji kwarjirab shajata balam shagim zalam chutur chapsam chawam lam tumba chumdan di tibshina shagbara chumbayang dagbara zopa sanji kwarjirab shajata balam shagim zalam chutur chapsam chawam lam tumba chumdan di tibshina shagbara chumbayang dagbara zopa sanji kwarjirab shajata balam shagim zalam chutur chapsam chawam lam tumba chumdan di tibshina shagbara chumbayang dagbara zopa sanji kwarjirab shajata balam shagim zalam chutur chapsam chawam lam tumba chumdan di tibshina shagbara chumbayang dagbara zopa sanji kwarjirab shajata balam shagim zalam chutur chapsam chawam taliyata mani mani mahamanai zo 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 ha mani mani mahamanai zo mani mani mahamanai Mani mani mahamanai zo 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 ha devar shakpa chirka chamra tam kurtai katsi sata shankamanta Chalajem sam chagab zambu chandra tendram konarab dagso jirvarasho nami sarvata thangata bayom bakhum khambe sarvata khangate sabarana aman gangana gaso hai je dotun kandav dablam dochi risam bami jim dada sanchin jal norav dam dada kwadur bunyiram jim solam jata samdan handram Jim dotun kandav dablam dochi risam bami jim dada sanchin jal norav dam dada kwadur bunyiram jim solam jata samdan handram Jim dotun kandav dablam dochi risam bami jim dada sanchin jal norav dam dada kwadur bunyiram jim solam jata samdan handram Gandhar Samo Yeshi Rubizar Yandi Jelmo Ekanzatim Yeshi Ledam Jitin Mamozom Solam Chutum Jermim Chanim Zud Hoy Gandhar Samo Yeshi Rubizar Yandi Jelmo Ekanzatim Yeshi Ledam Jitin Mamozom Solam Chutum Jermim Chanim Zud Hoy Gandhar Samo Yeshi Rubizar Yandi Jelmo Ekanzatim Yeshi Ledam Jitin Mamozom Solam Chutum Jermim Chanim Zud Trong trong chăm chỉ chim bù ra là tập ban năm chỉ đông mầm chờ chờ gia tăng để cái tập ban tiếp chỉ chim số làm chờ tâm chờ mìm chờ niệm giờ tới sơ trong trong chăm chỉ chim bù ra là tập ban năm chỉ đông mầm chờ chờ tập ban tiếp chỉ chim số làm chờ tâm chờ mìm chờ niệm giờ sơ trong trong chăm chỉ chim bù ra là tập ban năm chỉ đông mầm chờ chờ gia tăng để cái tập ban tiếp chỉ chim số làm chờ tâm chờ mìm chờ niệm giờ tới Dam jane chiwa chimbu ti nim zan Dide damam zan gambo nye so Kapchala samgya rikji zo dam jim Solam chatam charamim chanim zod Hoan dam jane chiwa chimbu ti nim zan Dide damam zan gambo nye so Kapchala samgya rikji zo dam jim Solam chatam charamim chanim zod Hoan dam jane chiwa chimbu ti nim zan Dide damam zan gambo nye so Kapchala samgya rikji zo dam jim Solam chatam charamim chanim zod Bama ganga kwanya na thawochi chepsan da ba jar bo yang le we re za mar bo kwa kuram da bam jim solam chatam charmim chanim zat sha bama ganga kwanya na thawochi chepsan da ba jar bo yang le we re za mar bo kwa kuram da bam jim solam chatam charmim chanim zat sha bama ganga kwanya na thawochi chepsan da ba jar bo yang le we re za mar bo kwa kuram da bam jim solam chatam charmim chanim zat Gong ji yin Cham ba zam ji jam Do the peng o tre te maram zan pa ya Chor chong yeb jinam nor va jilanam ji Da ka sam tun malim nyer Jabam zodai Koran di chukana gadari bangaranda Mam gaya yeshi olangi long Jambu durjila namba chevchi yevshinam norvenyel karak salam zimzam banja daya chin chumchil shagji ral delegwamanam javni kedatrom olazir mimidim cho rana dagba lam mir Kalavam nyambub shanlab tob barasam. Jewa kanta yang tagab lama tam jedmel chuje kwalla dom shida jang sadang lam je yundun rabzoni durjim changa gomba nyera thaba shoy chandan dim gombam jam holang shagayam zalalo kangalop jujum ni jam jaranya taranam tagarab sadavi Chanyala Gadongana Javjam Zipshiranyal Jidekara Lagaban San Kantaka Chap Sandra Maria Mantan of Dingal Tizarava Cho cho kai kan la ba chi tar ji yan la ji ji ga yang da na som ji tar chi tro gam nyam mo nya lo le chi cho ga tro drum za da cha ma re mam sa da de nga la nya ka cham nya la cho lam za la ra cha na ma do ne ta ga chang sa chi im tar so na yun da na le zo ya chi tho wosh ka cha cha gam cha dam jam ni jam chi da gam lo mam salam jam khola ga yang la da da ara pa za na do ara pa za na do ara pa za na da Arabazana do 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 Arabazana da Sidanan Jerjim Cheraba wala Zarajif Daglo Tame Mambar of Salani Kadam dan tu jongle Topayam Lojur Bodapa Nanwaf Jelata Solo
Yon Jimburdan Hingmi Jan, Monum Jimbur, Napian. Agar dargam santo shirmar dor dumba tuje jana ki shom sar. Sirtir raptur gitse mai xir janchin jirvir nesi longir pa manjig chujan tena ter tevjana lobja mambo tagda ne bate lam rnam tagdan lai ter thone me London yo per ser renchen chong de viande renchen ji je per shawa ji ji me bartar devjen tebe maksand dangja be nyomo so xiang sem chen yongden ozgne nyomo damde da shi shir jerga namla tam chu chichren be sirtir janjin rwe one zlong we ser na laim dongjer na kund tagba什么声音？çoğdan zibama malanan girton bartar devjin rjari nyomo maksan chembur hongir zoksan rumbochi semsin namlaq zigne tedag taqshi lijin namla churtondu chirtarma war kemna 사국나 무즈바 이흐테르나 요치르바 마티 테마시 데흐테르테 양 데란더나 요치 머마르타르 데브지나 이치나 쳇 런치나테 쯤에드 자르단 사르메드 추니드 장 마르토베나 고르버드응으로 나마긴더 티르근 dim용 지르더고 켐능 런치나 쳇르바이 쳇르베 말라 Renchen akter da yochib joper mafshida te na mai shimanar tar devjin chokter yechi kyone semjin namla gorbo stavar te da namna te to shabjin jikten da na changchong yang da tam jirter arma la so shamje la yopi savun nikon jigmet chu marmu chusu sarmu chusu damber jan junshang gyarbu ngu boram jin jabar tar semjana namji marg la so somje ji pag nang chad chukam gewa yang devjin gewa de la te laften ne ramji taber jaru ngu boram jar chadang nyemi gotan longdang sati namki kin namji tala tang armim jeb sebne 샹르티 쩌타바라 셈chen nyomom jevrig nangchit zoksan sawun nikayan devjin gestin dedang dele chumtong perverin gerwa yin今天是10月26日。
Today's October 26th.
大概10月26号的记号。
I'll mark it as
然后
October
那个
26th.
保持了
And
可能中
by
间
today,
告一段落，
I
然后
think
可能
this
明
would be
年
the class,
3月份
the
吧
last class for
就
this
现在
year, and
这个
we'll
时间呢
resume
定
the
下来
Uttara Tantra
然后到时
Shastra
候
next year around February or
就
March. I will make
根据
announcement
情况啊
prior to
把
the
这个
actual
报下来的
class.
后面部分呢
And
如果没有出
then
现什么无常的话呢
if death doesn't down on any of us, if impermanence doesn't happen, if we were to still have such auspicious auspicious connections, then we'll continue with the class on Uttara Tantra Shastra. And today we will
3个礼拜当中
study as much as we can.
在上个礼拜当中讲了
In fact, 2 weeks
第
ago,
3个比喻吧 就前面
we've already talked about the third metaphor, the third example,
那个抗屁的比喻
where
已
it
经
talks,
讲完了
where we finished talking about the husk of the grain.
然后呢又讲到了这个蜜蜂的比喻
And we've already talked about the example or analogy of the bee.
然后在前面呢就是
And
讲
prior
这
to
个
that, we also talked about
就是
the
白面
example
当中的
of
这个
the
偶
white
像
flower or the
大概前面讲了
statue
3个
that
比喻
resides in the white lotus
今天
flower.
开始呢
So we've already
讲
finished the 3
第4个比喻
examples, and today
那么
we
第4个
will
比喻呢
talk about the
就
fourth
是说
analogy,
这个就淤泥当中
which
掉的
is
那个
gold
纯金啊就是用这个比喻
in the filth.
那么这个比喻呢也是从3个方面讲
This example also is given from the 3
学习
aspects.
报
The
信论
first
的
one
话
is
呢
example
主要
and
从
meaning
着
and combined.
如来藏的
I
这个
think
存在
when you're studying the
如
Uttara
来
Tantra
藏的
Shastra,
存在呢
you should
前面也
understand
已
the
经
key
讲了
point,
就
which
是
is
十
the
种说
existence
法
of
是
Buddha
十种
nature.
是个
And over here, we're going to
然后现在
learn
呢我们
about,
进一步
previously,
向
we've
比
already
喻
talked
来
about
说
the
这种比喻
10 aspects. And
表
over
面上
here,
看
we're
好
going
像
to
是
study
我
the
们前面这个
10
白面当中
examples.
的这个
So
偶像一样
previously, the first one
就
we've
是
already
礼拜
studied
拜
the
文化当中
statue
的
within
这
the
个偶
white
像一样
lotus
啊
flower.
然后
And
蜂
the
群里
second
面的
one
这
we've
个
already
蜂
talked
蜜
about
啊
the
就是里面
honey
的
within
这个
the
蜂蜜啊
the
还有这个糠皮
beehives.
当
And the
中
third one
的
is
这个
about the
粮食的
grain
进化
within
啊
the
就是
husk.
说这个
So
有
that
些
is
这
the
个
essence
食
of
物
the
的这
crop,
种粮食什么这
such
个
as
青稞也好
barley
面也好
and
这些那这
such
些呢好
as
像看起来就是说
the
是只有
different
要是
kinds
一
of
个一个
grains.
内容但实际上呢就每一个比喻有不同
In
的
fact,
这个侧
each
重点
analogy, they have
所
a
以我们
different
在
angle
学习
to
的过
talk
程当
about
中呢
the essence
就
or
应
the
该
Buddha
如果
nature.
深入细致地
Therefore,
去学
during
的
the
话呢
studying of
都
such,
有不同的一
I
些
think
这个
it is
意义
quite
啊
important to
我看那个
understand
不
it
管是
from
在
the
这
different
个
angles.
维译也好还有那
According
个
to
无主
the
菩萨的
different
这个注释当
translations
中也
and
好
the different
还有
commentaries,
呢
such
这
as
个
the
其
Sanghas
他的这个
commentary
包括这
and
个就像那个迦子记啊、摩诃仁波切啊
Tapsoti, as well
大多
as
数的这些注释当
Miparinpoche's
中的话呢
commentary,
都基本上
they all
没有
talked
这么
about
解释就没有怎么解释
they
然后
all
荷兰的有些那个
were very
就是大德们就是讲的
brave
时候也
about
是
the
基本上没
explanations
有效
about
问题
these
就直接
analogies, as well
直接
as
简
other
单的效
masters.
问题然
They're
后
very
也没有
rather
你是
quite.
哪里的
Where you come from?
你找谁啊
Who are you looking for?
In
India, in fact, when a Bhantita is giving the teachings, there are heretics who would then come into the shrine hall and would challenge the Bhantita. And at that time, when I saw that person stood up, I thought he was about to challenge me.
所以一般印度那个班智达就是后门班智达，就是就还是有一
In
些比较
India, there are
我们一般
lots
这个
of
在
really
一些经
wise
堂的门
and
卫的
very
话
sharp
呢，就是不一定有
Bhantitas.
班智达，就是但是我们尤其是个经堂的这个
Sometimes the managers of the shrine hall as well as the guards, they're not necessarily to be the bantitas, but maybe they are. You never know. Anyhow, usually if someone comes to the gates of the shrine hall, the bantitas who's guarding the gate, they have to debate to defeat the other person. In the Google map, we can see that Nalanda, the map of Nalanda is quite big in terms of the area that it resides, and the monastery or the Shurja that is very close to it. At that time, in fact, the religions are very prosperous at the point. So Buddhism faced many challenges. And in the later time, around the 13th century or so, Nalanda Bantitas were very proficient at studying the Buddhism philosophy, but they did not really make the connection of the studying and philosophy of Buddhism with the modern, with the knowledge that is connected to that time at the moment, with the worldly knowledge at the moment. So we should definitely connect both of the worldly knowledge as well as the Buddhism and philosophy together. So you should know about the Hinduism tradition, their customs, and their cultural aspect of their teachings. Because let's look at all the great Pantitas at that time. They're very proficient at the knowledge that is taught within Buddhism, but they're not so good at communicating with the worldly people on that level. So that is why the Hinduism at that time started to get quite prosperous. And Buddhism, later on, after 600 or 700 years, from that time, Buddhism started to wane. You don't even hear the name of Buddhism anymore. Therefore, I think it's quite important for Buddhists to practice upon the teachings that you receive, because if you were to only debate, then it is really not of any use in terms of eradicating your own afflictions. And second one is that as Buddhists, you should combine the Buddhism philosophy with the worldly knowledge so that you can propagate the teaching of Buddhism to the people at the time. Therefore, the Buddhists at the time, I know that you're very good in terms of practice, in terms of upholding your precepts, in terms of meditating, in terms of chanting mantras, in terms of studying the 5 treatises. However, if you were to be rather quite off with this world, if you are not connected to this world, if you were to only focus on your study, then sometimes I think it will be rather difficult for you to propagate the teaching. Therefore, you can study the 5 treatises, but at the same time, you should care about what's happening in the society. And we can see the necessity of it in this. We can see the necessity from the historical aspect. And that is why I want to bring up your attention to our curriculum. Now I think we have too many of the Abhidharma classes, but not enough Madhyamika. Of course, it's good for you to study Abhidharma to start with, but I think what's more important is to study Madhyamika. understand that you should study both both the Buddhist logic, the Pramana teachings, and you should also have understanding of Madhyamika and vice versa. They are of the helping aspect of each other. Maybe during the meeting at that time, I was a little distracted, so I didn't really pay lots of attention. And I noticed this year we don't have enough teachings on Madhyamika, so I really hope that you can have maybe more teachings on Madhyamika this year, and this is good to have another meeting in terms of the upcoming curriculum in next year. I hope that you could set the letters, set the letter for the practitioners who want to attend the Madhyamika classes. You can provide such kind of circumstances and favorable conditions for practitioners. For lamas and jomos in the Tibetan side, the Tibetan monastics, at the time when Phontsogul Rinpoche were giving teachings to all of us, and he said that we'll just ask one Khenpo to become the Khenpo for the Abhidhamma classes, and he rejected right away and said that no, I don't want to. And then Phontsogul Rinpoche said that, well, I think you're good enough to give the teaching of it. And Phontsogul Rinpoche said that there are other Khenpos who are giving teachings of the precepts as well as Madhyamika and so on. And then that Khenpo continuously said no. And Phontsogul Rinpoche was rather very upset, and he just left. And the rest of us, we felt quite embarrassed at that moment. We felt that how could he reject the request from Phontsogul Rinpoche? Just like the professors nowadays who are rather very senior in a class or in a university, and they feel that they're very senior and they can make all kinds of decisions. Anyhow, this time I think the curriculum is probably not fitting to the requirement or for the requests of the practitioners. I understand that there are different kind of levels of requirements for people to attend that class. However, I feel that we can also be a little bit more flexible when practitioners, when our Sangha have a certain kind of requirement. I feel that you should report it to the Khenpos and Khenpos so that they will listen to your idea. Anyhow, this is just adding to our curriculum. Anyhow, I got sidetracked because of Bhantita was about to challenge me, and we talked about the history and our curriculum. But now let's come back to the teaching, to the actual teaching. Now we got to the fourth example, that is the gold in the filth. The example says that while a man was traveling, gold owned by him fell into a place filled with rotting refuse. For example, a person who was walking around on the street, and at that time he was carrying the pure gold with him. A little while ago, lots of people made offering to me, and someone offered gold to me, and they offered their jewelry, such as earrings and rings and so on. I was thinking that I was thinking that maybe when people was purchasing all of those jewelries, they must have lots of attraction as well as attachment towards them. Therefore, I thought that I should put those gold into the best use. And then after contemplating, I offered it to the Treasury Department over here, and so that they can make food offering to the whole Sangha and would be the best for the people who made offering to me. Nowadays, people would consider that gold are the most important, but I myself think that gold is rather very difficult to deal with. So whomsoever offer gold to me, I would then directly offer it to the whole Sangha. And over here it says that when a man was walking around and then the gold fell into this pit of filth, just like how nowadays people would go to washroom with their cell phone, and then the cell phone would drop into the loo. And then at that time, though gold fell into the rotting refuse, into this pit that is full of mud and even feces, but the nature of gold won't change because of its indestructible nature. It's really, even in a pit that is full of really filthy substance, the gold itself will remain for many centuries, just as it was, without making any changes because of its indestructible nature. So it was staying in that pit for a long time. And then later on, a celestial being with the completely pure divine vision saw it there, and then addressed to someone who have a connection or have merit, and said that purify this supreme precious gold lying here in this filth, and then convert it into something that is worth being made from such a precious substance. On top of such gold, there must be lots of filth and lots of mud, and it's covered, it's really dirty. But after you recover it, after you cleanse it, then you can make all kinds of substance, all kinds of adornments, or all kinds of things from this piece of gold. This is an analogy, but it could happen as well. Just as it is stated in the great heap of the great jewel heaps, the Sutra of Heap of Jewels, it says that just as pure gold falls into the filth, as its nature is spotless, it cannot be tainted by the filth. The nature of it is in fact completely pure. Therefore, there's no way for the filth to taint its nature. The nature of pure gold cannot be changed even after a long period of time. The pure gold would remain in such a state. So the previous one is the example. And now, what's the meaning of this analogy then? The meaning of it is that, likewise, the Muni sees the quality of beings, which is sunken in the filth like mental poisons. So the perfect Buddha, which is the great Muni, or the great wish-fulfilling jewel, the perfect Buddha then sees the Sukaragarbha, the Buddha nature, and the quality of beings, which is sunken in the mind of the filth-like mental poisons. The Buddha saw such gold-like nature of such beings, though it is sunken in the mind of filth-like mental poisons. In fact, is present within all sentient beings such kind of gold-like nature. Upon seeing this, he pours the mighty rain of his sacred Dharma upon all those beings in order to purify this matter of their afflictions. Within the 9 kinds of analogies, in fact, the only way of purifying such kind of nature is through the teaching of Dharma. If the Buddha wants to dispel the different kinds of filth tinted on the nature of sentient beings, we use the different kinds of analogies, such as the lotus flower and beehive and all of such. And as it is previously stated as well as over here, it says that the only way of doing so, of purifying so, is to give the teaching of Dharma so that the Sugatagarbha, that is the Buddha nature, will be revealed. During the teaching of this sutra, of this shastra, in fact, you're a lay practitioner or a monastic, I think you should try your best and make an aspiration to give the teaching of this Buddha nature, on the teaching of Buddha nature, and share it to people. In fact, this kind of sharing, this kind of giving would be much more than those of the giving of material. And this would be the best way of giving and offering to the sentient beings. You can give them the teaching according to their capacity and give this teaching with great skillful means, and to dispel the filth or dispel the coverage that is on top of this Buddha nature. So some of the teaching that is taught within this, you should remember it and keep it in your heart. And you should remember it on the day that you learn it, and keep it within your heart from that day on till you die. And you should make the aspiration that you use such kind of teaching to benefit all kinds of sentient beings for lifetimes to come. And in such a way, then you can give the teaching to all the sentient beings. I think in Laronggar, as well as the Khenpos and Khenmos over here, for many years, they have the opportunity to give the teaching of the Dharma. Lots of the tutors, mentors, they also have the opportunity to do so. Maybe this is something that you are thinking of, that I've received this kind of name, this kind of title from my gurus, and I have tried my best to give the teaching of the Dharma, making the offering of the Dharma to all sentient beings, and I feel very contented with this kind of fulfillment of my responsibility. Lots of people nowadays, they have the opportunity to give the teaching to the sentient beings with skillful means and in different situations and so on. Therefore, over here it also stated that it also stated that on top of this gold, it is in fact covered by all kinds of filth. And there are various ways to dispel it, various ways of remove it. For example, on top of the gold, if it is covered with lots of filth, at first you should rub it off with rather coarse cloth, and then later on you should use the finer clothing to wipe it off and to polish it and so on. For the same reason, in fact, whenever we're trying to give the teachings to the sentient beings, when we're trying to guide the sentient beings, we should also then consider that the sentient beings have different kinds of situations, because different sentient beings have rather very different kinds of defilements. Some sentient session beings have more defilements, such as when the gold is in the very deep part of the filthy pit, and it is completely covered, and it has a very thick layer of filth. And when you just fetch it out of the pit, then you will notice that it must be of a sentient being who is full of defilements, who is full of habitual patterns. And though this person has Sugatagarbha, this Buddha nature, but it has lots of habitual patterns. It's covered with very thick and very deep defilements and afflictions. No matter if you're monastic or you've been studying Buddhism for a long period of time, it is in fact still that in fact is still your habitual patterns. So sometimes then you should try to give the teaching of the Dharma according to their own kind of capacity. Sometimes you should give them the teaching of profound Dharma. Some of them you should give them the teaching of rather very simple Dharma to lead them onto the path of the Dharma. There are people who are of very sharp capacity. When they listen to the Dharma for 1 or 2 sentences right away, the hundreds of gates of the Dharma is open to that person right away, such as great masters in Zen master as well as in the Vajrayana masters. They would just listen to 1 or 2 stanzas of the teaching right away. They attain enlightenment. And there are people, even after listening to many volumes of Dharma, they don't attain any kind of realization or insights at all. I think compared to the great masters, we really didn't listen to lots of Dharma, such as Genren Lobwu, who listened to so many volumes of Dharma, as well as Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo. In his autobiography, I think it is also translated into the Chinese language now. In the autobiography of Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo, you would be able to see how many volumes of Dharma he had studied. And out of the biography, you'll be able to see that there are a whole chapter that is dedicated to the list of Dharma that he had listened before. So we have different kinds of defilements. The next one is the example and meaning combined. Once the celestial being has seen the gold that has fallen into the place full of rotten refuse, in the rotten feces. In fact, the gold is covered with that. And insistently, he directed a person who has such connection as well as merit to obtain such gold. So he directs that man and directs that man's attention to the supreme beautiful thing that is the gold, so he may completely cleanse it. And seeing within all beings the precious and perfect Buddha that has fallen into the great filth of mental poisons. When people cleanse this piece of gold for the same reason, in fact, the victorious one, that is the Buddha, does the same thing. And he saw the precious, perfect Buddha within everyone, and he teaches the Dharma to persuade them to purify it. After the Buddha saw that all sentient beings has this Buddha nature, then he gave the teaching of the Dharma and encouraged people to cleanse their inner gold, that is Buddha nature, and encourage them to practice So
也是
this
很重要的。
teaching
我们
on
现
Buddha
在呢
nature is
这一
really
点
important.
也是很重
We
要的。
have to
我
understand it
去年
first.
有一段时间这样想过。
Last
我想
year,
是
I
我讲这个
contemplated
给大家
like
讲述
such.
这个
I thought
如来
to
藏和那
myself,
个报
if
信
I
老师
were
应
to
该是
give the
有很大的
teaching
恩德，就是
of
为什么呢？
Buddha
因为很
nature
多人就是
to
如果
all
没有
the
教的话，
disciples,
确实是半信
then
半
I
疑。
think
甚至
I
呢，
must
因为我们的
bestow
环
the
境和
best
教育的
gift
原
to
因呢，
you
可能
and
根
be
本不
of
知道，就是自己具有如来藏
great
就是特别的
benefit
这种
to
可怜
you.
就是这样的话
Because
呢，那
if
太
you
可
were
惜了。
not
虽
aware
然有
of
些
this,
佛教徒，但
it's
他连
it's
这
such
个
a
如来藏
pity.
存在的道理都不
And
懂的话呢，
you're just a
那
poor
学佛也
wretched
是可
being
能
without knowing
就
that
是
you
名义上而已，
inherently
没有
have
什么
such a
意义。
godlike
不仅
nature.
仅是我
It
们
doesn't matter
我
how
们
much you
可
study
能在
and
以前的
practice without
看到
knowing
这个历
this,
史
then
当中
it
的
is
话呢，
really
很多就是高
meaningless.
僧大德和
When
成
we
就者
look
的话呢，
at the
在这
history,
方面
lots
也
of
有一
great
些不同的
masters
这
and
个
great
评论。
realized ones.
有一本
In
书
fact,
里面
they
就说是
also
当时
talked
那个
about the
唐玄奘
importance of
就
the
是唐
Buddha
玄奘
nature.
就是去印度的时
A
候呢，
book
在
talked
摩羯
about
国的
how
摩
Master
羯国的
Xuanzang,
摩
when
羯
he
国的一个地
went
方呢，
to
有一个
the
特别
kingdom
就是
of
的一个观音菩
Magadha,
萨的这个
and
像
at that
这个
time
观音
there
菩萨
was
的
a
像。
statue
当时呢，
of
就是这个唐僧呢，就是开始
Avalokiteshvara.
朝
At
拜
that time,
朝拜的时候呢，就是他就发了这个
Master
三个
Xuanzang
愿。
started to prostrate
第一个
and
愿呢，就是
supplicate
他
to
发愿
that
呢，
statue of
就是一块
of
架子，就观音菩
Avalokiteshvara.
萨的架子，就是孙俪的
And
就是
he
发挥
made
自己
the
的国土，
three
这是第一个愿。
aspirations or
然后
wishes
如果
over
这样的
there.
话呢，就是他供的那
And
个画
because
呢，就是
of
落
such
在那个观音菩萨
such
的
kind of
这个树
wishes,
这树里面，
he were
就是这样
able
的。
to
然后第二
go
个发
back
愿呢，就
to
是
China at
他
that
就
time.
发
The
什么
first
愿
one
呢？依
is
靠这个
the
富贵
first
资
wish
粮
he
的话
made
呢，
was
将
that
来就是
with
自
the
己呢，就
merit
是
that
专
he
升到
has
什么呢？就是专升到这个度岁天啊，就专升到度岁
he
天。
wishes
如
to
果
be
这个愿
reborn
成
into
功
Shita
的话
heaven.
呢，就是这个花蔓呢，就是掉落在他的
And
这个
if that wish
那
could
样的这
be
个树壁，就是降上，就是这样的。
could be
然后第三个发愿的话呢，就是他说，
could
如
be
果这个没有
accomplished,
这个
then
忏体，就或者说终
the
身有这
flower
个
would
佛
fall
性的话呢，
onto
就是那么
the shoulder
啊，
of
花呢就是
that
掉落在
statue.
手上
And
掉落
the
在
second
这个
one is
什么
if
就
all
是那
sentient
个观音
beings
菩萨的
have
这个
Buddha
脖子
nature,
上，就是
then
他
the
就发了这
flower
个愿。
would
后
fall
来他人
onto
那
the
个
neck,
花蔓的色
the
呢，
back of the neck
就
of
是
the
就如你如是
Avalokiteshvara
的，
the
就
statue.
掉落在
And
这
the
个
third
观
one
音菩
is
萨的
that
手
if
里啊，
his
就是
teaching
肩
were
上啊，还
true,
有这
then
个脖
the
子上啊，
flower
当时那个
garland
所有的
would
人呢，就
fall
是非常
right
的敬仰。
onto the
后来
head
因为这
of
样的这个
the
因缘的话呢，就是
statue.
就是这个唐
And
僧的话呢，就是
and
有些
it
历史上
indeed
面说
all
他
fell
是顺
into
利的
those
已经
places.
回国了。然后呢，就是这个圆寂以后的话呢，就是也
So
转生到这个弥勒刹都。
People
而且
were
他
quite
当时呢，
amazed by this, and then
当时我
he
在想，
successfully
像那
went
个
back
有没有
to
这
China
个
and
这个
then
断三
give
根
the
的人，就是
translation
参
and
天
the
的人呢，
teachings.
就是当时唐僧是他认为是有的，但是呢，他还
At
是
that time,
依靠这个
in
方式来
fact,
这个确
Master
定，依靠观音菩
Xuanzang
萨相当于
thought
是大
that there
观
are
音，依靠
people
观音
who
菩萨的
are
这
the
种这个方式来，就
Ichantikas,
是这样。
which means the
释
ones
老
who
子他
have
那个
completely
话没有掉落
eradicated
下来，就是不然的话
Buddha
就是
nature.
这个什么这个
But
遗传体的
by
所以
this
是
kind
这个
of
长命。其实
aspiration,
他
the
认为遗
flower
传体是应该没
did
有的，
fell
但是呢，当
onto
时
the
很多
shoulder
人呢
of
认为
the
是有的，
statue.
有这样的这种
And
历
it's
史。
wonderful that
所以
the
我
flower
们现
didn't
在呢，就应
fall
该算是
elsewhere.
有福报的，就是因为前辈的这些
So
大德们
upon
的这个先臣的
contemplating
这种
on these
论
kind
点
of
啊，先
stories,
臣
I
的这
think
个
we
经
should
验的
consider
话呢，
ourselves
这样
as
我们去学
extremely
习的话呢，
fortunate because
在
we
大
have
的这个
all
方
the
向和大
kinds
的
of
框架上的
shastras and
这种
teachings
这个
based
理论
on these
和
teachings.
教理的话呢，
And
就
we
完
have
全是
the
就是足
doctrines
够的，
and
让我们这
the
个这样
teachings
去
quoted
好好
from
的学
the
习的话呢，
Buddha
可以就是
and
真树立这个
all
正
kinds
见
of
啊，就这
texts
方面
so
比
that
较
we'll be able to
问题
set
的，所
the
以
right
我想我
view,
们在这里
to
呢，
develop
就
the
刚才也
right
讲
view.
到了，就是这个其实如来藏的话呢，就是它就
As I
是遍于
stated
所有的
earlier,
这个众生，
in
但
fact,
是
all sentient
虽然
beings,
遍于
and
所
that
有的
is,
众生，如果没有给
as
他这
this
个
book stated earlier, all sentient beings has some Buddha nature. And if you don't have this Buddha nature, there's no way to cleanse the defilement about it if the nature of this Buddha nature is not pure. So according to the Tadakatagarbha Sutra, it says that the Sukata vision is like this. He sees that for all kinds of beings, the Tathagata Dhatu is not destroyed, though it is submerged in the muddy silt of kleshas. Previously, during the teachings earlier, during the stage of a mundane being or bodhisattvahood or the Buddhahood, in fact, this Buddha nature is always there. Therefore, we should set up or develop the correct view with the doctrine and with the teaching. After each analogy, I'll take a sip of water.
Mm. 再接下来，继续。
And now let's continue.
继续什么？讲到什么呢？就是宝藏的比喻啊，就是下面第五个比喻是宝藏的比喻。
Now, the fifth analogy, which is the analogy of treasure under earth or in the earth. If an inexhaustible treasure were buried in the ground beneath a poor man's house, the man would not know of it.
或者是一个比喻吧，比如说特别。
A poor man who is thirsty and hungry and is completely wretched, live a complete wretched life. He does not know, had no idea that there is a treasure underneath his house. And the treasure itself won't speak and tell him, I'm here. Nowadays, the different kinds of treasures include gold and oil. And I think this is usually considered as a treasure. But the poor man has no idea of this. He has no idea that there is gold underneath or treasure underneath his house. He has no idea, and there's no way for him to know. And the treasure won't say that, hello, I'm here, I am treasure. The treasure won't speak out for himself, for itself either. And even if the treasure speak out, I think the poor man would be really terrified and run away, because he probably would take the treasure as demons. So the meaning is that the treasure won't review itself and say that this is treasure, then you should use it to dispel your poverty. It reminds me a story of when I was herding yaks on the mountains. On top of mountain, there is a big rock. I found a long adornment, and at that time I thought this must be silver, and someone must have hid this for a long period of time. And I looked around, there was no one around, and then I took it back to my home. My family used a long time to investigate what it was. It's a big adornment. At that time, a relative came to me and said that there must be some treasure hidden underneath. And he asked my father and as well as other relatives to continuously to dig underneath that rock. But after several days, there was nothing reviewed.
所以那个现在我每次那个去下楼学校的时
So
候
whenever
呢，
I
在
go
上
to
面
the
的那个
lower
就很高
Lokama,
的那个山上来看得到那个山谷，就是
and
那个山
when I
谷
look
一看
at
到
that
是
valley
当时
over
镶起来
there,
那块银
it
银
really
子，
reminds me
所
of
以
that
这是
piece
就
of
是当时
silver I
那
found
个
at that time.
就找到了这样的，就不知道是古人，就是上面的是还是有一些就是
Not sure if it's
比较
from
很
someone
很就是
who
可能很
some
很少
ancient
很
some
很
people
很
from
多年的是藏
earlier
着的，
time
不知
to
道是什么。
who hid it or
就
had
然
no
后
idea what it
我自己
was.
的是当时想就是是不是，因为当时我们家里就是比较这个困难嘛，就是
At
我
that
就
time,
经
I
常
thought to
也不管是是不
myself
是他藏在这
that
里
maybe it's the protector who hid it here, because at the time I live
可能
in
无法分
a
别这个了。
rather
嗯，
poor
那
family,
其实这种
but maybe
情
the
况应该是
protector
有的，好
don't
像
have
这
such
个
kind of ability
佛
to
经
do
里
so.
面有这样的东西，就是佛经里面
A
就是
similar
当时
story
那个
though,
波斯灵王的就是有一个他的
Prasanati,
女儿
the
叫
king
做善光嘛，就
Prasanati,
是善光，
his
有长得也
daughter
非常好，然后
Vajira,
他自己
Princess
也有
Vajira,
非常
she's
善
very
就是
beautiful,
他信仰
and
佛教
she
的。当时刚开始
has
这个
deep
波斯灵王
faith
呢
in
就是对
Buddhism,
佛教
and
不
she
是
has
特别的
lots
这
of
种
merit.
信仰，就是然后有一
And
次呢，就是他给这
the
个女儿
princess
做的，
doesn't
现
have
在
lots
你
of
那
faith
个
to his father
也是
though.
长得也特别好，然后各
So
方面的这个福报啊，就是人们也特别这个喜欢你。
she's really
那么这个
beautiful,
的话呢，
and
就是
she
应
has
该知道
lots
是
of
全部都
merit,
是
and
是
people
我这
really
个
like
过
you,
往这
very
个福德而
popular.
导致的，你应
And
该
the
明
king
白
tried to
然
persuade
后他
her
女儿
that
呢
it
就
is
比
all
较
because
讲
of
究，
him,
他
all because
他
of
说
the
这个不
king's
一定，
merit.
就是我自己
And
有
then
自
the
己的
daughter
业
said,
力，自己
no,
有自
I
己
don't
的
think
善
so,
根，
because I have my own
就
karma,
是
I
是
have
自
my
己的这
own
种能量
merit,
导致
and
的。
it is all
然后
because of my
这个
own merit
就是
that
他
I
们之
am
间的话呢
enjoying
又
all
开
of
始分
these.
歧了，然后父亲
So
呢
at
就
that
再
time,
三
the
的问
king
他
got
说
really
真的是
angry
这样认为的
and
吗？
said that,
他
you
说
really
是
think so?
真的这样认为
How
的
could
吗？
you say that
他
it's
说
your
是
own
我今
merit?
天去问了3次，
And
他
he
女儿一直
continuously
坚定
asked
地
her
说是
for
这样
3
的。
times.
就
And
然后
then
国
the
王就跟
princess
他讲，那
replied,
好，就
said,
我
yeah, I think it's
我
all
看
because
看
of
是
my
不是
own
你自己
merit.
的能力而这个
And
得
then the
到
king
的。
got really
然后
upset
呢，
and
就
said,
他就
okay, let's
想办法，
let's
这
see
个
about that.
整个国家里面就是最穷的是哪
Then
一
the
个？然后
king
有一个乞
married
丐，就是说这是
his
最穷的
daughter
人，然后
to
就
the
他嫁过来，
poorest
就是把他
man,
交给
that
他，
is the
嫁给
beggar
他，
in the
然后说
country.
这个就今天就离开
And
皇宫，
he said that
看
now
看
you
是不
can
是你真正是
get out of my
这
palace,
个
and let's
自己
see
的
it
业力
is
就是
if
献
it is
献祭
really
自
because
自
of
己
your
做的
own
行为。
merit.
然后女儿的话呢，就
And
是
then
心甘情愿的，就是说
the
是
princess
可以的，
said
没问
that
题的，
sure,
我
no
要这
problem.
个离开王宫。
I will
然后她
leave
跟
this palace.
那个丈夫一起的话呢，就是就
She
出去
left
出去
with
的时候
her
在路上问
husband.
这个你现
And
在家
on
里
the
有什么
way,
这个财
the
物？
princess
她说我
asked,
以前我家里
so
比较富裕
what
的，
do
但
you
是我
have
父母全部都
nowadays?
已经死了。
And
就是
the
当时
beggar
是我
said
国家
that
里面我是
I
第一
used
长
to
子的
be
儿子，
very
但最后呢，
rich,
就是任务
but
结
now
束，
my
现在
parents
我
are
威武，
are
无靠
deceased,
什么都没有。
and I have no place
然后
to
那个
live. I
三
have
光呢，就
nothing
是再
left.
继续问这个，那
And
你
then
们
the
的
princess
这
continued to
个
ask,
就是
saying
住的
that
地方是
where
在这么的，
did
然后
you
他
used
就
to
是
live?
有一个地方废
And
墟，
he
就
said
只有
that,
在
oh,
那个
now
地方。
there's
然后
only
他说那没
ruins
办法，
left
我
on
到
that
那里吧，
on
就
that
是在那
land.
里就是开始
So they
重
went
新
back
就是
to
建立
that
天地
piece
之
of
主，
land
然后
and
到
want
了
to
哪里？到了
build
哪
a
里的时
palace
候
for
呢，
them
就
or a
有
home for
好像
themselves.
有一块空地，就是到了这个
And
空地的
on
时候呢，
that
那个大地自然裂
land,
开，然后中间呢
when
就是
the
就有一
princess
个豹，就是
stepped on
豹
that
子嘛，就
land,
是自然
the
这个出
earth
现，可能是进
naturally
展还是什
opened
么的。
up, and
然后，然后他们两
treasure
个呢，就是把
naturally
那个金子
revealed
就是
itself
开
to
始
the
就是
princess.
卖
And
出去
then
啊，就是卖出去
they
以后的
sold
话
the
呢，就
treasure,
是然后就可以这个建宫殿呐，就是
built
然后
their
就是
palace,
这
and
个
hired
什么
lots
这
of
个其
servants.
他的所谓的什么这个一些眷属啊，就是就各种各样的什么那个才女啊，就是什么样的眷属都可以，就因为
All kinds
有了
of
这个福报
servants
的
and
时候，自然而然
maidens.
就出现了，
With
就是
such
在
kind
短
of
短的1个月
merit,
当中，就是
they
比那个
then
波斯女王
built
子的还要富裕，就是已经
big
变成这
palace
样
that is bigger than her father, King Prasanati. And then King Prasanati, after a little while, remembered his daughter, and he thought to himself, I wonder what happened to my princess. And then he asked his retinues, and his retinue replied to him saying that no, she's doing really wonderful, probably even better than you, my king. And then And then the people told him what happened. King Prasanati didn't want to believe it at the beginning. And then the princess is rather very kind, and she invited her father to her own palace. And once King Prasanati saw her palace, and he thought, wow, this palace is better than mine. And that's the moment he realized this is exactly as how the Buddha taught. It is that everyone has their own merit and their own karma. It all must be because of my daughter's previous good karma that she has such merit, and now she has such a beautiful palace for her own. So it's quite. So this incident then developed the firm confidence for King Prasanati to believe in the teachings of cause and conditions and karma. You may only feel that this is just a story, but that's not really. But in fact, this is not just a story. There are people who get rich within one night. I asked the person who got rich within one night, and he told me that he bought a piece of land, and then somehow they discovered a coal underneath that piece of land. And now he told me that he's not worried about money at all. He's very rich. Some of this kind of merit is rather quite interesting, how the merit would reveal itself. For example, Dubai. I've heard of Dubai. And I think Dubai is rather quite an interesting place. I really want to go there and visit, not for my own enjoyment, rather I want to go there and see how that country got rich within one night. 30 years ago, Dubai was just a piece of desert, and now it is one of the most developed countries in the world. And lots of things are quite, unbelievable. How the buildings and how the people used to live. For example, how the people got rich after just within one night. It is very similar to the story that we just heard, isn't it? And let's look at lots of the Arabic countries. They have resources that could make them rich within a quick period of time. Someone singing. In terms of the Dharma teaching, yes, they don't have such kind of correct path to practice. However, their resources are very different, such as Saudi Arabia. The country was established back in 1932, and the king had 38 wives, the first king of Saudi Arabia, and then he had 127 princes. And then after a period of time, the 127 princes developed into 5,000 princes. Recently, a person who was arrested in America, in fact, he pretended that he was the prince, one of the princes from Saudi Arabia. And because that he faked himself as the prince, his actions earned him lots of money by lying to people. let's look at people who live in different areas. Maybe their lifestyle was very different just a few decades ago, but look at how they live their life now. It is all because of the differences of the merit. If the conditions of the merit would mature, then you would gain lots of merit. And if your merit were to dissipate, then all of the things that you used to have would dissipate simultaneously as well. So in our relative world, there's such kind of displays of the differences of merit and cause and condition. But in the ultimate aspect, in the pure aspect, the Sugadagarbha had never changed. Every sentient being's causes and conditions are very different. Their karma and habitual patterns are very different. And if we were to observe and contemplate with depth, then you'll be able to understand and develop faith and confidence in such teaching. There are many wonderful spiritual teachers in this world. Just by observing their actions and behaviors, you'll be able to learn a lot. So this phenomenal world is really our textbook. So we were talking about the treasure, isn't it? And now, previously we were talking from the aspect of analogy, and now we're going to talk from the aspect of meaning. Likewise, the precious treasure is contained in each being's mind. This is the true state, which is free from defilement, nothing to be added and nothing to be removed. This Buddha nature does not have any defilement. It doesn't have anything to build up on. It doesn't have anything to develop, to increase, to decrease. And this kind of teaching, in fact, is not known to people who have not attained enlightenment yet. It is because that we have not attained enlightenment, have not seen this true nature. So we're just like the poor man who's suffering from deprivation. If you were to know that you have this wonderful Buddha nature, you won't be suffering. If you were to discover this Buddha nature, you won't be suffering anymore, but be very happy. And everything in this world is is really beautiful and enjoyable. So that was the meaning. Now both combined. When a precious treasure is contained within the ground beneath a poor man's house, and the treasure would not yell out and say that I'm here, and the man does not know of its presence, because the man doesn't have such merit to reveal it. I think people are very much like that. When people are young, we cannot see how a wonderful person this young child would become, a scientist or someone who would make a great contribution and so on. When you look at those famous celebrities as well as scientists' pictures when they are young, then you would be quite in awe, thinking that, wow, there's no way to tell that this person would become so famous. For the same reason, it is stated that just like the treasure that is hidden underneath the poor man's house, the Dharma's treasure lies in the house of their mind, and the great sage truly takes birth within the world. world to cause them to attain this treasure. But the sentient beings, without the knowledge of this Dharma treasure that lies within their own minds, in fact, would suffer if it were not because of if they do not receive the teachings from the great sage, that is the Buddha, the Tathagata, Shakyamuni Buddha. Because of Shakyamuni Buddha's teaching, the turning of the wheel of Dharma, which reminded me that Master Yin Guang quoted from the Lotus Sutra, that he said the Buddha Bhagavan appear in this world for one great purpose alone, which is to cause sentient beings to aspire toward, to manifest to them, to cause them to attain and enter the path of the wisdom and insight of the Buddhas. Some people feel that the only reason that they are living in this world because they want to accomplish a great career for their family members and so on. But the only reason for the Buddha to appear in this world is for one great purpose alone, that is to cause sentient beings to attain liberation, to see the nature of the mind, to lead and guide the sentient beings to see their nature of mind. And we should develop faith in this teaching. In the later part of this text, it is said that the ultimate truth is attained through faith. The Tathagatagarbha Sutra are very explicit in terms of each of the analogy, very detailedly explained. According to the Tathagatagarbha Sutra, it is stated that if you believe what I have taught you about all having a treasure store and practice it faithfully and ardently, employing virtuous expedients, you will quickly attain the unexcelled path. We should have faith, develop faith to the Buddha, to the lineage masters, to the Dharma. We should develop faith towards all of them. In fact, faith is so important. If you were to have faith towards this Dharma text, towards this Tathagatagarbha, then wherever I go, I will take it with me, and by taking it along with me at all times, it will naturally bless me and provide strength to me. Similarly to the statue, if you were to carry a statue at all times and have certain kinds of affection towards the statue, then it will create a certain special connection for you and that statue, and it will naturally then grant you blessings. Khenpo-Deba has great faith towards Ponzo Rinpoche as well as his root guru, and because of such kind of faith, the blessings and wisdom that is brought to Khenpo-Deba is very special, very unique. So if you were to have faith, then the simple teaching that we studied, that you have treasure, will give you benefit. For example, the Uttara Tantra Shastra give you this teaching, even some very simple teaching would be able to lead you to liberation even. For example, Master Huihai, he went to Mazu and want to study from him, and Mazu asked, why are you here? And Master Huihai said that I'm here to study the Dharma. And Mazu said that, well, look around, it's empty over here. You have your own treasure. I have nothing to offer you. And then Master Huihai at that moment, he said that I came from a faraway place. How could you say that you have nothing and I have a treasure? I have nothing. nothing. Really, I have nothing. And he said that. And then Mazu said that I have nothing to teach you. In fact, you have everything already. And then Master Huiha continued to ask that, what is my own treasure? And then Mazu said that the mind, that you should watch your own mind. In fact, such kind of mind is already your own treasure. And I think this is really because of the merit of the master right away. Master Huihai attaining enlightenment right away on the spot. Not sure if Senshin beings nowadays could be able to attain enlightenment through just the simple teaching, through simple teaching like that. If you were to attain enlightenment right away like that, then it doesn't matter if you still attend classes. If you were to study the Abhidharma or Madhyamika for 10 years or so, in fact, you don't have to do that anymore. If you can attain enlightenment right away, you can just say bye.
这是那个对应的，就是对应这个如来的这个出世呢是这样的。然后接下来呢，就是我们讲第6个比喻啊。
Now let's come to the 6th.
首先是这样的这个比喻，就是芒果当
That is example. The seed contained in the fruit of a mango or similar trees.
这样的那个，他这里先就是说这个芒果呢，就是我们就是说烟幕龙果。
The Amrapali fruit, that is the mango fruit. Over here it says that
它那个种子呢，就是不坏，就是一般我们就经常讲的那个
the seed contains in the fruit of a mango or similar trees is possessed of the indestructible property of sprouting.
用这个什么这个耕耘啊，就是灌溉啊，还有一些
Once it gets plowed earth, water, and other conditions,
废料啊，就是这些，
such as
这样的话呢，那么就是这个树呢，
fertile
逐渐
soil
的就是变成一个
all kinds of conditions such as this, and then substance of a majestic tree will gradually grow out of the seed. In fact, I think the mango tree is not that tall. The tallest one is probably over a dozen of meters, especially the trees that grows in the grove. In the letter to a friend, as well as Bodhisattvacharya Avatara, he talks quite a bit about Amrapali fruit. When I went to India, the popular fruit was in fact, the fruit that we all really enjoyed was bananas and mangoes. Pontsokro Rinpoche really liked bananas. I think because India was really hot, and I think eating bananas was really helpful in terms of the heat. Somehow, Pontsokro Rinpoche called bananas as the tail of yaks, because the bananas over there in India was rather thinner, and it looks just, and it's curvy and just looks like the tail of a yak. Sometimes, when the bananas were not offered to him, he would buy it for himself. There are mangoes as well as bananas, but mangoes were expensive, therefore we had bananas. So he said over here that a mango or a tata tree, in fact, out of a very small seed, then it has the potential to grow a majestic tree, just as a Nyagroda tree. In fact, the seed is very small, but the tree would grow to be meters tall or yojanas tall. Yojana, the word yojana, I think it was a habitual way of counting or a habitual way of measuring, because it would be very difficult to measure a tall tree at the time. Anyhow, the Nyagroda tree and other kinds of tall trees, maybe they're as tall as over 30 meters or 20 meters. Some of them would grow into a majestic tree. So I myself would think in such a way that in the words of my perfect teacher, where he talks about how the tree would be certain yojanas tall and certain yojanas wide and so on. Just like how we would describe in the Chinese language as hundreds of thousands, which is not a specific number, but rather it is a way to describe. So previously was the example. Now let's look at the meaning of this example. It says that the fruit consisting of the ignorance of the other defects of beings contains in this shroud of its peel and the virtuous element of the Dharmakaya. Through the accumulation of merit as well as dispelling or purification of our habitual patterns or negative karma, then the tree then the Buddha nature could be reviewed, or the tree could grow out of the seed. But you have to practice systematically. Unlike some people would come to me to say that I have to attain enlightenment right away. And tomorrow when and I've already bought the ticket to go back tomorrow, I have to fly back tomorrow, I have to attain enlightenment right away today. But this is really not that easy. Maybe it is easy for those people who already bought the return tickets. And the next one is that by means of water, sunlight, wind, earth, time, space, and the necessary conditions, the tree grows from within, and the narrow shroud of the fruit would continue to come out, will gradually grow out of that seed. You need the elements such as earth, you need time, spring, summer, fall, because if you were to plant the seed today and expect it to grow right away, it won't happen. And on top of that, you need the space as well. You need the space for the tree to grow. And with all these kinds of favorable conditions, then the substance of a majestic tree will gradually come out. Over here, in the English version of it, it says the fruit of mango, which is correct, and the second one is the Nyagroda. A Nyagroda tree, in this version is fine, but in the version that Khenpo is teaching, it is the Tada tree. The Tada tree is a tree that grows large leaves, and the leaves were used to transcribe sutras, the teachings of the Buddha. And there's another tree, it's called Shurya tree. Shurya tree is another type of tall tree that is usually used in different kinds of teachings of the Buddha. So with the favorable conditions such as purification as well as accumulation of merits, then the tree would grow, just like how the sentient beings will be able to see the truth of the Dharma, that is the Dharmakaya. Likewise, through relying on virtue, this element also will gradually turn into the substance of attaining time of Munis, if the conditions are not met, are not suffice, then it would be very difficult for you to attain enlightenment right away. According to the Prajnaparamita Shastra, where it stated that the sun shines on every corner equally. When it shines, then the ripened flowers or the mature flowers buds will open. But while the buds that are not mature, not ripened enough, will not open even under this condition. In order for the flowers to blossom, they need all the conditions. And a mature flower, under all favorable conditions, they will blossom naturally. Doesn't matter how much you try to stop it. And the flower, if it is not mature, if it is not ready to open yet, then doesn't matter how favorable the conditions are, then it won't blossom right away. In the great treatise on the perfection of wisdom, it then stated again that, in fact, it is the same to the Buddha that although the Buddha teaches equally, those who have ready virtuous seeds will mature. Those who do not have will not mature. The Buddha gave the teaching equally, such as the Ponsukkur Rinpoche as well as great masters. When they give teachings to hundreds and thousands of people, they would give them profound teaching to all of them. But to the people who have the matured virtues, they will gain insights or realizations right away. But for people who do not have such kind of a mature who are not mature in their virtues, they would not gain benefit from it at all. And not only they don't gain benefit, they may even develop a wrong view based on the profound teachings. So it's very different. In the teachings, some of them, in this kind of teachings that is provided equally, there are people who attain realization and then people who attain wrong views. So when you're listening to the teachings from a great master, I think this is rather very similar. Whatever great masters you're studying from, it is the same. But what's the most important is to change your mind stream and to make progress based on such teachings. If you were not to make the positive progression, rather you make negative retrogression, then I think you are treading on the wrong path. So when you're studying the Dharma, I think the important aspect is that whether you are mature or not. And the other one is whether you can persist. A little earlier, I awarded those Sangha members who participated in the after-class discussion groups. I gifted those Khenpos and Khenmos award for those Khenpos and Khenmos who persisted for 10 years, over a decade. And I gifted them something very unique, that is 500 RMB. This is really just a sign. This is just a gesture. But my intention was that, in fact, it is very difficult to persevere for 10 years. Not only, let's not talk about 10 years, it would be difficult to persevere for 10 days. There are people who feel that they don't have such kind of condition to study for 5 days or 7 days. They would feel headache and headache and so on. So it's quite important to persevere and to try your hardest so that you will gain fruition. And this year we'll stop it here.
Sonam de tan chu zuban ya tomna ni be jana pa
Chile jam jirga nam chi balon tu baya Jabim zulim joa dolvara sham deba sanje nam da jayam jitin dana gam jigram chil barajar kayam apshana de taram nyeravaram zamzop shanchavaram bar sanjivshan shabja gale janam janyala ba te taja chire yons tagbarajar shanchava shangwan zhong shag jarvada sanji ji ji rabta kanvarasho shabji simjana ganam janyala ba te tagda namir devarajar Doa ganje chuji to namanam tambar chirjare vam depression Shanchaba shalba tagna dagshada jam doa kanda jiwa temperature Serava kandam chambo jiwa nash tagtab dagna raptam chamvaresho Jarava ganje jisum of jerde zambu shalba yons of jile jam Salatam jarba million tagapa Tagta manyam chimilip chuparasho. Haye katala tan of janakala jalvam tagta maya kanam dam. Doa ganjira naman chatambar. Tamchala kata daki chuftanando. Tesham parulashana of zanadev. Chanchivasim nanamyam jilmajir. Deepa Gana Madapara Jerpata, Teta Mali, also Shanvarasho. Litam Yulam of the Jende Namalim, Tolajam Jitin and Oanam Zayan. Chatara Panamochi, my Chakbabjan, Yerala, Namkaratopa, Metarevshed. Jangam Chundam Shanam and Chatham Berang and so do Alarata Javarevshid. Roa gam goraja, roa tham jadalana pamperevshed. Shanchavajar bayons of shilijan, simjana the games of Tom Tamberemji, Zombo of Shadapatana after Naja, my own Karapak and the Shadaparevjer. The games of Tom Songberg of Shadapat, Tagatan, Tartan, Joperesho, Letang, Namatana, Simjija, Shadapatagata, Molam of Sudavshed. Dagla Pamberim Dolpa Chopo Tagab Zambu Shilbar of the Tumbanam. The Dab Dagin Namaya the Marion. Sardi Jim Gurvim Gumbo Namam Gumsamata the game Jaravata, Mamam Karapak and the Mechover, Teta Layam Churpaja Chirja, Jaravanam Jetamba Chums and a jam, Shantav Churpak and the number of she lives on both Jarapan and Barab Jawaya, Maam Karapak and the Jalaparabja. Telepatham Jatayam Koranan, Sunamaya Shetagana Mazalani, Taptang Sheravatam Zananam Tarata, Yundan and Kanjima Zalam Zotur, Dalachiatana, Delanilla Janamate, Jantir Samjima Chabasan Jenama, Sarje, Winam Jibala, Shanchab Shalabab, Jafta Varabja. Tehtara mali tamchi de shogzaya chatzamam chunla dikzaman sarnyalaji sarji jamso janam jamso dam karapa jamsuru chuchang arabdamji sonchigi yanlaga jamsu dekilji jalva kanaya yanlaga namdagabab doa kanjev sambab chajanaya sarji sonla tagdamji parabja Tisam of Shagba Jarava Tamjada Tagam Kurulum Saranamaravta Korvaya Tetagaya Soyam of Zalala Dagjan Arabdamji Mawam Karapa Tamchidamji Beraya Kachi Shiki of Dagjam Jibarabja Kayam Karapa Texaman Salateta Kachi Chashi Jina Jibarabshet Tisam of Shagba Maya Sangeka Tetaga Kachi Chila the gift Tetagan of Joyala Jamara Jerbanam Taratop Jimji Kaya Tisam Taka Jam Kolaba Tetaga Derjiat and the Mumberajaba Tetaramali lim shognaman tamjada Yarva takra janamam kollamji Kayam abjana jitin dunmanam abshanchabaram baram thanjab korlov kor Nyanganandi parapta jam taratun Gombo kanji tongdab dagamcho Kandam yerviv zamjulutun namada Kanya goya takapar top dagata Kanda yondan of shalapatun namada Kanda chabab shamba takatub Kanib givim sunamatub dagatam Chakapami parakirpa yashitub Sherabatab tam zanatub takakib Shanchabatun namayan takadaparabshid Lichetun namayansa takapshirijan Yumotun namakandam jumbarabshidab Dachetun namatum milarabshirijan Shalapatun of Zoparabja Janama Jamzo number Takapshida Jan Simchina Jamzo Takana number Durum Chunama Jamzo Raptan Tomshida Jan Yashi Jamzo Rapta Toparabshid Shulpa Jamzo number Takapshida Jan Mulama Jamzo Yonza Zoparabshida Sarji Jamzo Raptan Chupshida Jan Karapa Jamsur Machula Jaraparabja Kaya tisam shapa jaraba yub shan chip shilpa molam shidraganam zambo shilpip shan chip sarjene tekanab daki mali zobrabja jaraba kanje tijatwa pa kango mana kantab zanjib sham kiba de tam sombrab jalpab shir gevan da tagatam jadarab davngo litang yagtang yid janam tagajam shurbanam tagajanam yon tagabavno zambom kibam chemda Dem darab dagajang de tang song parasho Kani gewa zambo jalpab sharam jam hola jina molam jalparab ja Mawam karapa kanta machobar Te shava mali zoparab ja Sandi yudama jirji yundana nam jang sab zong me parasho Shalpa tsamil pala nini jang De tagam charpa tam jadar salavarab ja Nam kim tarti jirpa jazambar Simchana malim tayang dip junante Jazamali tam yonamon tajirabab Daka molam tayang de zammo Kayam shokji janam tayi parim chinar jantib jalavanam la pala Ladam yub devan chognamajang Jangab dalanyan karaparam paravavi Kangi ngova jarpun da tunim Shang chabam chok jizura moshang Lanchik zamyang talpap jarpanam So namatambam chokdam dam jarero Kangi song shid mulam da dabi Tina ngan song tam jara bawaram jar Tina chokopo ngan bar bawa yin Nangwam thai te yang dem yiram thong Te taga nyal parab nyala devaram so Metsim dar yang te taga leg para Kandab zambo te yang chandravar Te taga rang pur matogo te vijunam jar Tsamile nga po taka diba nama Kanga mashi wang gif shi patag Te zambo vishadbam dab jadanam Nirta mali yonsuf shang varam jar Yishi dang na zik dang tsanam dang Rik dang ka taga nam dang dam varam jar Datang bar taga mambo de matabam jitin sambo kanna am sharparam jar Shanchi bishang wang zhong de dem nirim ru Soni sim chanam ham sharap dem derte Rabtav korab dannama de tam chi pa tham chadab dal Kayam zambo chudba molamandam Changwa tang ne tuntam lognayang Te number mamba sanjim chenam Shanchavan chagla somnyam abshadachig Jam khoda wawu chituram timba tang Kandab zambo te on divjanande Te taga kanje jisab daglov shirir Gevan da taga tham chadarab dabngo Te samar shagpa jarva tham chadaji Abngo kang lam chagtab ngabate Daka geva savan dakkananjang Zambo chub shirirab dabngo rabja Dagnam chimim deep shira jarabana Japa tam chada dagnam sham salate Gon samanang wam tayim tem thoni Deva chanja jantar rabdum ru Ter soni na mulam da dagjan Tam chada malim gontam jaravarashag Te daga malib daki yonsuf gan Jitin chachada simchanam pambaravya Jalava jalam korat zangjang gava Tir pamu tamba shantam vilishti Nangwam tayi jalvim gonsamanda Longtana bayam daki ter tubasho Daki longtana rab tavani Chalpa mambab shivam chakjayi lo ye to chi sho che nam so yang sim chen nam la phan ba mang bu je zang bu sho de mo le mam tom ba ye gi wa chong za la da ke cha sa ba te nam ro bu mo le ma ge ba nam ka chi chi ki tham cha dam jer ver sho ka ya zang bu sho de ban de ngo bim so nam am thai dam ba ka thu ti do ai de ngalam che ver shang wa nam o la wa mi de ba mi ra ba thu de par sho Malama get the bone that took him to zoom time do I can lamp him see the young can the zambo jam bub Jean Travete Lanson in the mamali stover Sandir Kasamami Shandabadan Junior get up them bubs and Lavada Game the name of Shadam Dambubs and the Vaji, Chatarab Noa, Molamam de Parisho. Talia the Banzan and Jaya, Awan Budana, so high. Bami the J, Durji, Dunjum, Jedabanam, Revelera, Valamber, Catamondo, Ripper, what James, Jimmy, the Banzo, Javla, sort of, and they would take their gombers and Lavanya ledge. Feel the chitam deeper, Shinji, all sorta, Tomadol Mera, Salanga, Mila, the Hundred Kim, the Bambam Drove, Sasama Jalava, Jamsum, Chiniji, Gala, Shinchina, Bubba, she bags, Solomon, Milajam, Nova, Yam, Tagam, Takapayashi, now I'm chocolate of Jams of Shangham, Jeepernam, Jeraton, don't give Jeeps in my life, sort of, and if it cut him and Jeradurji, she served and a name that beam, Shokjam, Goroloja. Tamzigas on my if tam do handy on the show Jerry Jarava, take the Zamot, Tadanam Tam Jam to Nim Tier to Yamin Haksama Dimburim, Dotanam Japa games, Barajaraji, Lapasam the Deeper Soji named the Yonka Jan, Dr. Shalajiv Shavi, Talam Bar. Taftanam Shamdarab Jeep Chashi
尊敬的上师，各位堪布堪姆、法师道友，大家晚上好。静谧的白雪配上悠然的茶香，混合着柴火的温热，让原本平淡的生活趣味无尽。一本《宝性论》加上光明如来。